Welcome to a terrible football show. How you doing today? Hopefully you're having a great day. Ricky, it's my fault. I didn't give you a cue.
It's okay.
I had both hands occupied over here. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I had to turn down the music. I had to switch the scene. I'm busy. I'm sorry. But we got Ricky in studio for the second time. How you doing? How you feeling?
Feeling all right. Doing all right. I'm on vacation this week, so for all you that are working, I don't feel sorry for you.
Let's see. Let me unlock my phone real quick. 24 days until mine. So I'm getting there. I'm in the home stretch. We're almost there. And I cannot be more excited. We also have Shane over Discord filling in his spot that we have Sexy Shane or Threatening Shane, depending on your view on it.
The mob Shane.
Yeah, exactly. Shane, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It was a great weekend of college football. Got to watch a little bit more than I expected. So, looking to chit-chat about it.
A lot to talk about, honestly.
There's quite a bit. Yes, there is quite a bit.
This is the most college football that I've personally watched in years. Because I haven't had like TV in years, right? It's never appealed to me. Like I would only watch it during football. Yes, I guess. Oh, you'd watch a lot of, but I never wanted to spend the extra money for it because I was always like just cutting pennies, trying to, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But finally got around to it. And I got Hulu with live TV, so I watched a lot of football this weekend. I got a lot to chat about. Shout out to Jacob in the chat. Jacob, how you doing? How you feeling? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day today. But yes, college football week 1, got a lot to chat about there, as well as give our expectations and thoughts going to week 1 of the NFL. Do week 2 predictions for college football. If you want to join our poll, link down in the description below and get you in there. Our games for this week is now up, all 15 games. Shout out to that. We'll go through that here in a little bit. Then, of course, go through our predictions for week 1 as well, which we'll be doing all season long. Make sure to join the Discord. You can join in and chat with us. You can hop into ATFS Draft Queue. We'll pull you up whenever we got a moment, and we'll chat with you. Also, make sure to check out our sponsors like Rogue Energy, Wayward Beer Company, and Red Dragon. Keep an eye out for our newest one, Agent Inc. Should be starting some designing here soon, and I can say with 1,000,000% confidence that we will have customized jerseys for ATFS. You can get on there and buy a jersey, put your name on it, a number of your choice. It's going to be sick, and I cannot wait for that. It's going to be absolutely insane. Boys, we're all going to have to get a jersey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as soon as the design is done and it's in our store, we're buying jerseys. We have to. Like, it's a must.
100%.
And then, of course, check us out on our website, SparkE3.com. You sign up for it free. You sign up $5 a month. Support us further. We definitely appreciate that. As well as our own personal merch store, which will remain active, SparkE3shop.com. We'll put up, like, promo codes and stuff like that. In fact, I feel like, since football is back, I feel like we need a promo code. I feel like we need a promo code. I don't know the character length, so we'll just go with promo code football. I'll throw it in there later today. I'll give you 30% off everything on our merch store. Shout out to that. And go follow us over at Twitter at TerribleFB Show. So music's actually coming to a close. Perfect time for me to actually close down the music itself, and we can go ahead and start diving into some stuff. Okay, so the first thing that we'll go over is we'll do prediction standings to kind of kick off the show here, and we'll pretty much follow through with that for the most of the season to see how we're doing and everything. This, of course, one that I'm looking at right now is, of course, for college that we did. So coming in at top, we do have Tyler with a 13-2. I want the record to be known. That does not scare me in the slightest. At all. I want to, for people that might be new to this show, okay, that did not listen last year. When we started last year, when it was just Tyler and I, and we were doing predictions, he was beating my ass up and down the street to an extent that I can't even begin to fully vocalize on college picks, okay? Just how good he was doing and how bad I was doing was unreal. But one single event changed everything. One single event. He was working a different job at the time, and he would pop into my buddy Zach from AniMan Plus and Gamesthetic into his store, and they would chat, whatever. And then one day on an AniMan Plus episode at the beginning of the show, we were talking about it, about how just horrible my ass was getting beat. And Zach said, "Yeah, man, Tyler's just getting them right one after another, and I don't know what's wrong with you." And then literally the week after that, Tyler just went downhill. So Tyler, if you're watching right now and you continue this trend of being really well, I'll just have Zach talk about you in AniMan Plus, and your season's done. So you better watch yourself. You might want to start throwing some games before I completely destroy your season. I've got my secret weapon, and it's Zach. But yes, Tyler with 13-2. All about the U. I didn't catch his name though. He is currently 12-3. Brady at 12-3 as well. And then we have multiple people at 11-4, which does feature myself, my guy Steve, Iggy, Jacob, Ricky, you are a 10-5, and Shane, you are a 10-5 as
That's
well.
because we had the balls to pick upsets.
You did. You guys both.
I want that on record. We had the balls
Yes.
to pick upsets.
Yes, you did. You had the
And look, and I'll also say this. I'll take. I know we're going to chit chat about it. I'll take the Oregon one on the chin. Okay. I'll take that. All right, that's on me for Ricky's pick. That's on me. Okay.
Well, I mean, I had so many questions about Georgia. In some ways, I still do. I mean, I know they won 49-3, but I mean, Oregon, like I said, new coach, new system, same old Bo Nix coming in.
Yep.
I mean, he's never done well against Georgia as it is, and I just kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. I will never give him the benefit of the doubt.
I was hearing stuff from camps and stuff saying that he's always looked really well, behind that offensive line, because apparently it's supposed to be the best offensive line he's played behind, yada, yada, yada. He still gets smacked. Still throws 2 picks in the first half. Same old Bo Nix. So you know what? From here on out, I don't know what I'm gonna do about my Ducks, man.
Are you gonna fade them the rest of the year like I'm fading Hawaii?
I mean, at the end of the day, it is Georgia, right? The Pac-12 is going to be significantly better going against than Georgia, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, we did not look good in that game.
Right.
And then also my reason for going 10-5, my excuse for it, anyways, is I was strictly trying to go based off of last year. This is a new year. I should have seen that, and give me like 2 weeks or so. I'll see how all the teams are playing, and I'll kind of catch it back up here. Okay.
Well, you're taking that one. You're taking that one on the chin, and the other one where you guys pulled an upset. You guys may have lost, but Ricky, you were on point with that mindset. Let's be real.
Goodness.
You were like you may have lost in this, but you got to take a win in your heart because you were right with your logic.
So here is the thing. So their best tight end, who I said is an NFL draft prospect, he went out. I think it was the first or second offensive series that they had. They go around him and all their tight, because like I said, he was the leading receptions for tight ends in the FCS last year. They run the offense around him in their running game. Running game obviously was not going to work against the big front that Iowa had. And I give Iowa all kinds of credit. They pinned them deep. I don't think they saw the 25-yard line, but maybe 3 times the entire game.
That Iowa punter was on next level.
Golly, you've got to be kidding me. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, let's get it going. And then the first safety. And then I'm like, okay, why would you do it? I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, I'll forgive that one. You still got a chance to win this football game. But then I started noticing the quarterback. And this quarterback did lead them to the FCS championship game. But one of the things about him, he has been hurt. This was his first game back in a while. And it's like the second safety was all his fault. Like anybody knows when you got this big dude, 350-plus pounder that's coming after you, throw the football away.
Right.
That's all you've got to do. And then, I'm not saying they would have won the game because they just only scored 3 points. There wasn't even a freaking touchdown in this game, people. I mean, it was just a pure I defensive ball game. And give Iowa all the credit for the win on that game, especially their special teams. But I give a lot of credit to South Dakota State. They stuck it to that offense of Iowa, which isn't the greatest, but they still stuck it to them.
Yeah. No, it was a long, hard fought game. Right, and I think I thought it was funny where I saw the little news tidbit where it's like the last time a team had 7 points and didn't score a TD was like in 2000. Yeah, 7 points, no TD scored, which isn't. I mean, that game was just wild.
Yeah, had they not scored that safety, it would have been 5-3. And the last time that happened to be an Iowa game. It was I think it was the early 90s. I think is when they said it was.
That's Iowa football, baby.
Iowa football. It was like 5-3. They'd be like, I think it was like Arizona or someone like that they beat.
Right. No, I can't. The thing that made me also just kind of laugh about that game is the fact that it's just like you had that score out there, and then you had people also floating around North Carolina, Appalachian State, and it's just like college football. It's
right.
like this is college football, which that game was insane. All right, I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch any North Carolina App State. I got the chance to
Yeah,
watch some of
yeah.
that game.
It was insane.
Dude, that game
40
was
points in the fourth quarter.
that game was
golly.
unfreaking believable.
61 points between both of them, and then Appalachian State scored 40. I'm like, goodness gracious.
Like, dude, I don't know. I saw the direction that game was going, man, and I don't know what the over was. Whenever I hit it, but it was like halfway in the game, and I slapped that over. I'm like, oh yeah, let's drop some cash on this,
Yeah.
baby. I hit that thing for some money. Let's go. Oh, dude, that game was insane. No, from top to bottom, we had a lot of good college football. I mean, like, just kind of kicking off the whole thing. Like, for me, like, I watched West Virginia and Pitt, the backyard brawl. First time it's been there since when, Pitt got that upset back in the day when West Virginia was being poised to go to, national championship when they had Pat White and stuff like that. That was the last time they had the backyard brawl. So it was cool to see that rivalry come back. And man, that was a really good game, man. Came down to the wire. A lot of people want to argue that was a catch. Gotta disagree. That was not a catch. That ball hit the ground 100%. But I will say, in terms of Pitt, like I don't have like a lot of high expectations for West Virginia this year. I think they'll be like I think they'll be a bowl team.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to blow things out of the water. But like Pitt shocked me. I thought Pitt played a lot better than I thought they would have. I understand they got Solvis, I think's his name, who was at USC last year. But I mean, still, man, you're losing your like 3 or 4 year starter and Kenny Pickett, who had like all this guy mentality, the it factor, and you lost Jordan Addison to USC as well. Your award-winning wide receiver. I didn't think Pitt was going to come out with this dub, but I mean, it was a hard-fought game between those two, and like I said, it came down to it. A lot of people want to say that was a catch. That was not a catch. That ball hit the ground. 1,000%. That ball hit the ground. I don't care what you say, but that game was awesome. All right, that Oregon Georgia game though, that was insane. Like I stayed on the boat that I thought Georgia was going to win, but like, Oregon getting beat to the level they did really did shock me.
Well, the Pac-12 in general,
yeah,
they're done. They're absolutely done. Yeah. Even if USC does run the table, it's going to be hard for the Pac-12 to show any kind of legitimacy of should we be in the top 4. Because I mean, you look at it, Utah lost to Florida. Yeah, Florida got put up in the rankings because of it, which I disagree with. But you just look at Florida season last year. Don't get me wrong, they looked very, very good, but they were also at home in the swamp. It's a totally different atmosphere. And like I said, give credit to Florida for the win. But at the same time, when you see Oregon and the way they did the other day, and of course it took a while for USC to get a good start against Rice, but they eventually blew them out. There's no one really in the Pac-12 that has besides even USC. USC may have a shot. I don't know, but I don't think USC is going to run the table. I don't think they're that good. They had too many problems before Lincoln Riley got there. It's going to take Lincoln Riley at least two, maybe if not the third season before you see USC football get back to what they're used to doing, and that's winning.
That's true. I mean, all across the table, the Pac-12 they're just not relevant. And Oregon losing to the extent that they did, man, and dropping out of the top 25 from they were 11, right?
11th, I believe, yeah.
Dropping completely out of the top 25 after that absolute massacre. I mean, it just further puts Pac-12 in a bad spot, and I wonder if that's going to put Oregon in a bad spot when they try and go to the Big Ten.
Could be.
Is Big Ten gonna be like, man, you guys are garbage?
Then again, remember who the Big Ten already has.
That's a fair point.
They do have Nebraska.
Oh my God, I know. Dude, I messaged you guys at halftime. It's just like, don't even let him. I understand they won, but I'm telling you, man, it comes back to it like they needed to just blow North Dakota out. You know what I mean? And just the fact that it was as close as it was going to have, I'm like, don't even let Scott Frost back out on the sideline after halftime. Don't even let him back out, man. No, that game. I tuned into a little bit of that game, and that game was that was an embarrassment for Nebraska. Nebraska fans got it rough right now. Now, you mentioned Utah and Florida, and honestly, that game was awesome.
It was.
Yeah, that game was awesome.
It was awesome.
And, Utah, I mean, you got to give them a lot of credit, man. That's a good football team.
It is.
Yeah.
They are.
That game came down to it, dude. Like, that team was – both teams were just throwing punches back and forth.
So, but it's more of their loss to Florida than it is them being a good football team. I'm not going to discredit, Utah because of one bad loss. But that was a bad loss. Because like I said, Florida, I mean, you just saw what they did last year. Flat out laid an egg last year with Dan Mullen. And then, of course, they ended up firing Dan Mullen in the middle of the year. But Florida has a ton of issues as it is. and you lose to a Florida team who has a brand spanking new coach and a brand new system and everything, that's a bad loss for Utah. Utah should not have lost that football game, even if you chip away with that. Like, I understand first week jitters and everything like that. That's going to happen for college football, especially with these kids, because they're kids. We still have to remember that they're still young men out there. They're not paid well, I take that technically they're not paid professionals, but
at this point
they're getting to the point where they're being paid professionals. So, but yeah, I understand you may not have your A game, but Utah had every bit of weapon to beat Florida. There's no excuse that they should not have come out with a W.
I feel like for that game in particular, it was a mix of two things. It was, number one, just being in the swamp, like you already mentioned. This is a different environment. But then, I don't know, man, that was just one of those games that as you get into the fourth quarter and you're watching Florida respond at every moment, right, in that fourth quarter, that was just one of those games where, like, Anthony Richardson and that team were just said, look, you can do whatever you want to do, but you're not winning this game. It was one of those vibes.
And here's the thing. Florida fans, they felt exactly what we felt with Chad Morris last year. They felt exactly what we felt. Hey, now they know, hey, we might have something here with Billy Napier. Billy Napier might be their answer.
Right.
I don't know if he is. I mean, because when they first hired him, to me, that wasn't a fancy hire, but, it is what it is. If it's, I feel, I'm glad for Florida fans. That's a big win for them.
Now, I do got to ask both of you guys this, because this was actually asked to me by Tyler's friend Nick, who's a big Florida fan. Naturally, I'm a Miami fan, so he'll send me stuff about Florida all the time, because he asked me if I was shocked by that win. I told him no. I feel like that game could have gone either way going into it, even though I thought Utah should have won. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just one of those, like, I see that loss, and I see how much it was lost by, they only lost by 3 points, I think is what it was. 29-26,
yeah.
I saw I'm like, no, that doesn't shock me. I mean, Florida's a talented team. I mean, like, when we talked to Nick about how Florida was going to be this year, mine and, like, Shane's stance on Florida is that it's not necessarily going to be Florida's fault if they're going to, not be a top team. It's going to be how that SEC East is going to be.
Right.
Which I still stand by that. There's a lot of shit going on in the SEC East right now to pay attention to. But, how did you guys feel about that, game with Utah and Florida? Like, did it shock you necessarily that Utah, I know we can probably all be in agreement that Utah should, in theory going into the game, should have won, but did that loss necessarily shock you guys?
I wouldn't say shock, but the level of expectations that Utah had this year before that game, and that part of it, yes,
right, because
like I said, the expectations they had, but in reality, no, because it's college football.
Yeah, I agree. With the hype coming in from Utah from last year, from winning the Pac-12 and getting to where they were last year and doing it how they did it, and then Florida coming off the year that they had last year, like, I'm sure, like, your everyday, like, not your everyday college football watcher will be like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to be a game. Like, it's a top 10 team of Utah going against Florida, who had a bad year last year. But, I mean, and also going back to what Ricky said, yeah, it might have not been a outstanding hire as far as a big name, but hell, Sam Pittman, I mean,
he wasn't a
his
splash
only
hire
head
either.
coaching job that he's ever got.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes those little guys, they work out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, talent-wise, I don't think anyone's ever doubted Florida.
True.
I mean, that whole state itself is covered in talent. So as long as you can recruit that state, I mean, you're gonna be just fine. And Florida has no problem recruiting that state. So I think all talent-wise, we knew that Florida had a chance to win this game. And my biggest thing watching it live was that play that Anthony Richardson did
Oh, that spin.
to pretty much steal the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
he spun out of one tackle, went to throw it. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but he went to throw it and he's like, nah, never mind. Turned around and completely faked that linebacker out. Like, had no idea what was going on.
That was a dope ass play. That was a dope play, man. And also watching this game, I was already, I already really liked the, this Utah team alone as it is. But watching this game, even though he did throw the pick to, seal the game. I really liked what I saw out of Cam Rising as well. I mean, that last drive, man, he just showed a lot of poise. I mean, it was just a situation of where it's just like, like they've been in this sort of situation before, just go and do their job sort of things. I liked what I saw out of the team. I still got a lot of high hopes for Utah.
That last throw, though, he should not have thrown that football.
That was a bad throw.
And so I think he still had another down or two before he even had I mean, he was not in a desperate situation.
Right.
I mean, I think he realizes that, I think he realizes that now.
Right.
Because I'm sure they've watched the game film, and I'm sure their coaches even said, hey, that's desperation right there. We were not in a desperate situation. So,
yeah.
Still had time left, and they had great field position. So, yeah, I wouldn't have thrown that ball.
Yeah, especially when you're only down by a field goal, you could at least tie it,
Right.
So, what about how you boys feeling about your big win this weekend over Cincinnati? I'll let you guys have the Arkansas floor now. Yeah, I mean, I know it's gonna come, so let's go ahead and get it out there.
I mean, it was the first half we looked a lot better. And one of my buddies at work, I don't know what fan he is, but he's like, man, Arkansas is giving this game away. And I was like, well, not really. I mean, in my eyes, we won the half. We won the first half. We won the first and second quarter, going into half 14-0, come out. I think we score again, go up 21-0, 21-7, if I believe. And then they pretty much win the third quarter to catch up. And then what sealed the game was the fourth quarter, right? I mean, we hold it for the last basically 6 minutes of the game. And pretty much win the fourth quarter, and that's what you needed to do to win the football game. You can lose, most of the time, you can lose 1 or 2 quarters, and as long as you win the fourth quarter, you're going to win the football game. Especially if you hold it like Arkansas did. And this team, 2-3 years ago, even before Sam Pittman, this is what we couldn't do. So it definitely brings excitement for me as an Arkansas fan, that knowing that if there's 6, 7, 8 minutes on the clock, I know we can probably milk it to where we can pretty much get it done. So yeah, on the flip side, I'm kind of, on the edge as well, because I mean our secondary is atrocious right now, and it has been for the last 2 years. Our corners and safeties, I know we're hurt, but we got to figure something out.
Well, Shane, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it was more of the defensive play calling than what it was anything, Shane, because this is the fastest that we've been in a long time. And it seemed like we got beat deep way too much, especially in the first. I mean, in the second half, they were able to connect, but in the first half, Bryant was just overthrowing the football. And I mean, he was just, but we were also making him a little bit uncomfortable as it was, and he even said the fans, were a big factor in the game and everything like that, which it should be. But yeah, I just, one thing that I noticed on defense that we did is we caught a little bit more blitz than what we're used to. We also did not play near as much zone as what I thought we should have. We did not protect the sideline. We didn't protect the middle. We didn't do any of that. And I understand Jalen Cataline got hurt, but that's just something that we've got to get better on. Because one thing that I have been hearing about all summer long is how much better our corners and our safeties are going to be this year. Like that's exciting to hear. But they've got to get better, and they will. It's like I said, first game jitters. I'll just summarize it in this way. We did not play very good at all. Like it was mediocre football. That's mediocre Arkansas football, with the exception of the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. That was true Arkansas football right there. Just running and gunning it, getting it done, running the clock down, getting that W. And I will give something else that I was shocked with was the offensive play calling. Usually we like to call these little fancy plays here and there. We didn't do that much on Saturday when it came to the fancy plays. We did exactly what every player knew exactly what we could. And of course, I'm very ecstatic with our offense. I think KJ Jefferson's going to get a little bit better. He was cramping up. Some of his throws were off key. I think that's not going to be a non-factor going forward. I am really excited about Rocket Sanders and seeing another number 5 running up and down the football field, because yes, he is a smaller Darren McFadden, but he's not a Darren McFadden, y'all. But I'm just saying he is a smaller. He's got some of his moves remind me a lot of what number 5 truly was when we had Darren McFadden. I'm very excited about Rocket Sanders. So in summary, guys, this is just one of those games we played mediocre football. and somehow, some way, we came up with the win. And I would have rather seen a win playing like that than seen us get our butts kicked, or worse, just get blown out. Which in some ways Cincinnati could have done that, but Cincinnati didn't play well either. So like I said, it's we're going to get better. It's just going to take another week or so. And I think once we get settled in, we're going to see a much different defense than what we saw on Saturday.
And it's funny that you mentioned like a mediocre game, because Shane, it reminds me of something that you said before, where it's like Arkansas plays to the talent that they're playing against,
Right.
whether it's good or bad.
And that's one thing that scares me about South Carolina, because South Carolina's not that good.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, that's also what scares me too, because our secondary, I mean, at times we look outstanding. Other times we look how I think we are. We're not very good in the secondary. And you're right. We played, I would say, at least 65-70% of the snaps on defense. We were playing man, because for whatever reason, Barry Odom was playing a lot more, or play calling a lot more aggressively than what we're typically used to seeing. Now, luckily that paid off, because we were able to get a lot more pressure with our front four, front five than what we are normally able to do, right? So I mean, that worked out. But on the flip side of that, just say Ben Bryant was able to hit those passes and wasn't overthrowing them, we could very well be down by 10 points going into halftime.
Yep.
Because I mean, there was a lot of
Those
points
were
left
some
on the
nasty
board because
overthrows.
of that. So I mean, that's what scares me. Because if that's going to be a Bryce Young, or a stouted quarterback in the SEC, they're gonna hit those passes whether they're being pressured or not.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I'll agree with that. And I think one thing, Shane, I think the speed of Cincinnati's wide receivers shocked me the most. I did not expect them to be that fast. They were fast. They were SEC fast. They were fast. I mean, they just went all up and down that field. Like, goodness gracious. But also, I mean, when you play, also, and of course, you can attest to this as well, Shane, because you're a football fan. You're more of a college football fan than I am, if not just as much. But if you think about it, Cincinnati's in a conference. What do they do in that conference? If they can't run the football, they sling it all over the place. So they're used to doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're used to that. So, but like I said though, and it's a W. I just hope we just kind of get better.
I mean, this is the way I see it, right? To me, it was still a good game. We got the win. If we play mediocre and still able to beat a top 25 team that was in the playoff last year, why is there going to be too much complaining about that, right?
Right.
I mean, we won 0 SEC games in 2 years not too long ago. So why are we complaining about playing bad but still beating a top 25 team? Sometimes I don't understand it. On the flip side of that, yeah, I like the way our offense looked, and you got to think that was also without Dominique Johnson, who very well could contend for that number 1 running back spot. So hopefully he'll be back for he may not be back for the South Carolina game, but I think he's guaranteed or something like that to come back for the Missouri State game, if not Texas A&M game. So
well, I think on the flip side of that, Shane, whenever you mention, why do people freak out about, how bad we played and we still won? It's the expectation that they have, Shane. I mean, they're high. This is the highest expectation that I've had personally for Arkansas since Bobby Petrino's last season. I had super high expectations that Bobby Petrino's last season, and it almost paid off. We were a win away from going to the BCS National Championship game. 1 win away, and we got blown up by LSU instead. So it is what it is.
Also, boys, I have some breaking news.
Oh, crap.
It's good. It's good.
Did Dallas get a backup quarterback?
No, I actually don't know who you guys' backup is. No, Tyler just messages to me. Got some breaking news that is a good thing, a phenomenal thing to hear. Wake Forest starting quarterback Sam Hartman is officially cleared to return to action. He is not out indefinitely now. Apparently, it was a blood clot issue. It was the problem. So Sam Hartman is back in action. Thank you, Tyler, for that breaking news, because I definitely would have missed that by the time the show was done. So massive news there. Massive news there for Wake Forest. My hopes for Wake Forest remain alive.
Yeah.
So big breaking news there. Shout out to Sam Hartman. Blood clot issue, man. That's no joke.
That's a life and death issue.
It is. That's how my mom had a stroke way back when it was a blood clot. So that's no joke. So it's good to know that he is cleared of that and everything's all good in that world. And now Wake Forest is gonna start making their way back to the top. It's a good football team, man. And Sam is at the center of it. Sorry to interrupt there. That was important news. Any other thoughts on the Arkansas game? You want to get out there, Shane? I think I accidentally cut you off. What you got?
No, I think I pretty much covered it.
Okay. Well, Jacob threw out there that he doesn't think Cincy should have dropped out of top 25 after a game like that.
Disagree.
I think that they probably should have stayed where they were, if not dropped 25. I don't think they should have dropped out. Do we know who took their place? Because I haven't seen the poll since they came out.
Yeah, we can go through the poll real quick. Because I also want to shout something out. I noticed this while you guys were talking, and it kind of gave me a little bit of a chuckle on the others receiving votes. I understand that they had a pretty good win against San Diego State, but Arizona received 1 vote. Like, are you shitting me? Someone voted for Arizona.
Hey, that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, there was someone that did vote Vanderbilt to win the SEC this year. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's true. Like, I'm looking at all these teams receiving votes. It's just like, okay, makes sense. All right, yeah, makes sense. And I just get down to the last one, Arizona 1 vote. I'm like, excuse me? All right. Anyway, yeah, the new AP top 25. So obviously Alabama at number 1. Georgia jumped up to 2 after that dominating win. Ohio State dropped to 3. Michigan 4. Clemson 5. Texas A&M 6. Oklahoma 7. Notre Dame 8. Baylor 9. USC 10. Oklahoma State 11. Florida 12. Unranked to 12 after that win. Utah at 13. Michigan State at 14. Miami at 15, Arkansas 16, Pittsburgh at 17. No movement there. NC State dropped down 5 spots after that close win against East Carolina. They should have dominated.
They should have dominated.
That was one of my big surprises from this weekend, that NC State did not just dominate that one. Wisconsin at 19. Kentucky did not move. They're still at 20. BYU at 21. Ole Miss 22. Wake Forest 23. Tennessee 24. And Houston at 25.
Why is Ole Miss at number 22? They looked horrible. They looked absolutely horrible
against Troy.
Okay, so I'll take back what I said about disagreeing. They could have put at least Cincinnati at 25. I mean, goodness gracious. But I also get it. You know, it's a numbers thing. You know, if you're the lowest at the poll and you're 0-1 and you have all these 1-0 teams, then yeah, if you're down there very low, you're gonna get taken out. That's just part of it.
Right. Any of these on the AP that immediately jump out at you, Ricky? I think before we started, you said that you had something that you disagree with. Was it Ole Miss or
Ole Miss? I disagree with Ole Miss, and I disagree with Florida. Why would you jump Florida all the way up to the top? I mean, that's just horrible.
All the way up to 12.
All the way up to, you went from unranked to 12. I mean, come on. I mean, I remember a time when Arkansas lost to Louisiana Monroe. It was in 2012 after John L. Smith took over because Bobby Petrino decided he was going to screw some other lady and get in a motorcycle accident. And then all of a sudden, you see Arkansas go from number 10 to unranked. You didn't see Louisiana Monroe going up to number 12 in the nation.
Right.
I mean, come on. No. Goodness, it's one game, people. Come on. It's not even. It's a big win. It is in reality, it's a big win, but it's not a let me jump up from unranked to number 12 in the country. They're not as good as Tennessee right now. They're not even as good as they're better than Ole Miss probably, but they're not as good as a lot of these teams on here. They're not better than Miami. I mean, come on. I swear to my soul.
Shane, what about you? Anything jump out at you that you disagree with or you really like?
Yeah, I mean, the Florida thing's a bit of a stretch. I mean, of course, you got to put them in the top 25, but to put them as 12, I wouldn't have put them any higher than like 18, maybe, and even 18 could be a stretch. But other than that, I didn't agree with Cincinnati being dropped out of the top 25. I still think Texas A&M should be like 21, but that's just me. But yeah.
Hey. Texas A&M might not be in it after this weekend, boys.
Yeah, we'll talk about that once we get there.
Yeah. So for me personally, I think Clemson personally should have dropped. They dropped one spot. I think they could have dropped another spot down to like 6. Personally, I just don't think Clemson looked that great.
No, they
yeah,
didn't.
they
But
didn't.
neither did. I mean, in some ways, Oklahoma didn't look that great.
Yeah.
Um,
Listen, when it comes to Clemson, I'm sticking with my stance. I've said it for weeks now.
mhm.
If DJ is a starter all year long, they were going to be a bowl team, yes, but not a dominant team, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, last year they won 10 games. Awesome. That's not taking you to the college football playoffs, right? But if they pull what they did with Kelly Bryant and Trevor and throw in their 5-star recruit freshman Cade, like they did do this game, and he looked good for his like 6 or 7 passes he threw, then I think Clemson, we'll see what happens. But, as long as DJ's the starter, I don't see it personally. I really don't. So I think they could have afforded to drop more. The Georgia one, that makes sense. That was a very dominating win versus what should have been a good team. So it's not I get it because Ohio State should have rolled over Notre Dame, but Notre Dame also shocked me. Their defense looked a lot better.
looked really good.
I mean, that was one of my big shocks in this weekend is how good Notre Dame looked. Personally,
While we're on Notre Dame, real quick, there's something you guys need to see on Netflix. Do you have y'all both have Netflix?
no, but I can get
Yeah,
access to
Get
it.
Netflix. There is a story. It's a series called Untold. I watched 2 of them today. One was on Tim Donaghy, which was the NBA referee who
Is
was
this the
gambling.
Monte Teo thing?
Monte Teo. It's a 2-part episode.
Yeah.
There's a 2
Heard about
episodes.
it.
Yes.
Big girlfriend. Yeah.
I watched the first episode, and oh my gosh, the person who pulled this off is a vicious. Oh goodness
Yeah.
gracious, they're vicious.
Yeah, I've heard about those.
I feel
episodes.
bad for this dude.
Everyone does now.
I feel terrible. I feel terrible for being mad at him. I thought he made it all up. No, he didn't make this up. He got catfished, people. He got catfished.
Yeah, see, he got catfished before catfishing was like a real big thing,
Right.
So
They probably made the show because of this.
right, yeah. No, I've heard about it quite a bit. I've heard about it quite a bit, mostly because like everyone at the Pat McAfee show watched it. So watching the Pat McAfee show, everyone was talking about it.
Right.
Right after watching it. So it was also funny because I don't know if you guys have seen this, but one of the guys on that show, Ty Schmidt, he does impersonations like all the time. He does a really good Lou Holtz one, and he recently went on a rant about Lou Holtz here recently
I
in Lou
can't
Holtz's voice.
This was on the Pat McAfee show?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
because
I gotta listen to that.
It was. I'll send you the video because they did make it a separate clip because the story was where like Lou Holtz wrote multiple letters to Brian Kelly during his tenure, and Brian Kelly never wrote them back one time. So Ty comes, he's like, well, I wasn't full of shit, was I? And he started like going off of this big thing, and he's talking about Monte Teo's. Why he's like, oh, Monte Teo's a great kid. I feel bad for him. He's just a sad oos on the beach.
Hey,
and I lost my shit.
And here, even if you're not an NBA fan, Alex, which I know Shane watches the NBA, but if you're not an NBA fan, the Tim Donaghy one makes you really question the integrity of the NBA. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. It makes you question the integrity of the NBA.
I already question it, honestly.
Yeah.
I have my teams in the NBA, but I have dropped horribly off the NBA over the last like 8 years
mine
or
was the
so.
Lakers, and I'm done with them.
Celtics and Magic for me. But man, it's just like,
Mine was the Lakers and Grizzlies. Now it's the Warriors and Grizzlies. I'm done with the Lakers.
right. Anyway, though, back to some college football with the AP Top 25. So the only thing that kind of sticks out to me is I'm with you guys on Florida. I feel like that's too high of a jump. I think they're a very talented team, and it's not going to shock me to see them continue to go on winning games. It's just not. I'm not going to be shocked if they beat Kentucky this weekend. I'm not going to be shocked by it. They showed talent on the field, and that's all that matters. But I do think it was a bit of a drastic, like knee-jerk reaction sort of jump, in my opinion. I think more like maybe even 15, I think would have been a good spot. But it's all about numbers, right? As for Miami, it's Betham Cookham. I mean, what do you expect, guys? I mean, we put up 70 against them. That's expected. TVD looked great. We put Jake Garcia in there for a little bit. He went 8 for 8. He looked really good. That was a game that I very loosely tuned into because it's like we're gonna win. We're already dominate. We're putting up points. So I was focused on let's go watch some more interesting games. Like I already know how this one's gonna go. I ain't worried about this one. This one's not worried about it. Other than that, nothing else in the top 25 kind of jumps out at me. I see you guys' point on Cincinnati, though. I see where Cincinnati could have just kind of floated there at number 25. I definitely could see that, but it is what it is. Maybe they'll climb back up into it here soon. Some other games to kind of shout out. One that I do want to shout out just because I don't feel like it's gotten looked at enough, and it was actually a very, very good game, and I love the shed of it all the way up to the end, was Illinois and Indiana. That was a very good
Yeah.
game. I was shocked that Indiana looked as decent as they did. I'm not gonna say good because they're not a great football team.
No.
They're not. But that was a very fun game to watch, man. And I'm shocked that Indiana pulled out that dub. I'm high on Illinois. Not as like, oh my God, they're gonna win the Big Ten, but like I think they're gonna be a good bowl team. I'm high on Illinois and Indiana, man. They got that dub. That was a very, very fun game to watch. Personally, I really enjoyed watching that one. What other games did you guys check out? Any other games you guys want
Penn
to shout
State
out?
Purdue was a good one.
I didn't check out anything of there.
Purdue should have won that game. Purdue gave that game away. Oh my gosh, they gave that game
To
away.
my understanding, Penn State did not look good. Is that
They
accurate?
did not look
Okay.
good. They didn't really look good at all till about the
At
fourth quarter.
all.
And even in the fourth quarter, they were so bad. I mean, yeah, Purdue gave that game away. Like, it's like, you know what? We don't want to win anyways. There you go. You can have it.
It's funny going into that game. I even hit Tyler up about it. He's just like saying it was going to be a blowout, whatever. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Purdue could get that
Gonna be
sneaky
no
dub.
Damn blowout.
He said the same thing about your game whenever we threw it on there.
Which
The
one?
South Dakota State and Iowa. I was like,
Hey, Tyler, pick one and suck it.
Yeah. I told him, that was Ricky's pick. He's like, it's gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be a massacre.
Daggum massacre. Hey, this just tells you I know my stuff. All right.
That's true.
Even though I
That's
agreed
true.
with Shane on the Oregon game, but that
Ooh.
you know what? Kiss my ass. I did pick Houston and Houston UTSA.
That was a
Houston
great
UTSA was a very
Yes.
good game. Yes, it was.
I'm not even mad about it. I was pretty high on UTSA. I still am. I really, really like Frank Harris.
They're gonna be good.
I love
they're gonna be good.
Frank Harris so much, but that I think they're still gonna be a very good team.
It would not surprise me if we saw a three-way tie for the
Right.
conference. I mean, it's like I said, they're just as good as Cincinnati is. I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, they are. Houston just had one better play. That's it. They just had that
Yep.
one play, and it was their defense. Their defense came up with a huge stop there in overtime, which ended the game, obviously.
One game I want to shout out as well. I don't know if you guys happen to tune into this game at all or check stats for it. That just kind of really shocked me with how bad they lost was Syracuse and Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville, man.
I
Oh.
expected so much more out of Malik Cunningham, the quarterback from Louisville. This is like he's a fifth-year senior right now.
Yeah, and that's
Dude, I expected so much more out of that game, and it's just like they just laid a massive egg.
See, in Syracuse, they're one of those teams. They'll beat the teams they'll beat the teams they're not supposed to beat, and then the teams that they're supposed to beat, they'll just lay an egg on. It's like but this one I thought was going to be a much closer football game, and Syracuse just rode them. It wasn't even close.
Right. Shane, did you have anything any games in particular that kind of stood out to you besides the couple?
Yeah. I mean, I think I want to talk about the group hatred game that was played
Oh,
Sunday.
I know, right? Yeah.
Florida State.
Yeah.
The Florida State.
Oh,
LSU
dude.
game,
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I'm glad you brought that up,
Yeah.
Shane.
you know?
Yeah. Fuck
Um,
Florida State
I
and
mean,
LSU.
it makes my soul happy knowing that LSU is the only
Uh-huh.
SEC team that lost this weekend, and that's including Vandy is in there. Vandy played this weekend,
Vandy's
guys.
2-0. Vandy's the only team in the SEC that's won 2 games, fellas.
Stop.
They're going to win 3 after this weekend.
I don't know. Hey, Sam Hartman's back, baby. This
Hey,
game's about to get a little bit tougher
I don't
for him.
care if they get Aaron Rodgers. Vanderbilt's winning this game.
Oh my God! Well, they had Aaron Rodgers' brother at one point in time.
Don't
So,
get me
I
started,
mean,
man.
it was basically what like if you didn't watch the entire game and you just tuned in to like the last quarter, probably less, and
Mhm.
just watched those 2 significant drives where LSU drives down, I think they fumble or throw a pick, Florida State goes down there, scores to take the lead, or they fumble or something, or get an interception, LSU takes it back down there, they score, and then they kick the fucking field goal and get it blocked. Like it was the epitome of a Florida State LSU game that I enjoyed every second of it because at moments they both looked good, but most of the time they both looked horrendous, and
Yeah.
I loved every second of it.
Yeah, what really turned it around was after LSU scored and cut it 24-17, Florida State was on the goal line. They were at like the 1 or 2 yard line, and they tossed it. And it's like, what are you doing? And the guy their running back fumbles it. And LSU goes from the 2 yard line all the way down to score toward the end, which they should not. And that's the thing. Florida State needs to learn how to defend the sidelines. Oh my gosh, that was so horrible. But LSU's D line looks really, really good. Everything else is struggling. They're going to struggle this year. It's not gonna be the prettiest of seasons this year.
One of my favorite things going into that game was, someone put out Notre Dame fans are about to be very loud on Twitter, even after that loss, because they were 17-point underdogs going into it.
Yeah.
Really came up and put on a good performance. And like the tweet was like, they're going to be very loud is if they went into that situation and then LSU loses as well. Notre Dame fans are going to be very loud, and they were. Notre Dame fans were very, very loud. Brian Kelly he is not held in high regard
No.
when
No.
it comes to the Notre Dame fans. So, no, that game was the way Shane put it was the right way to put it, where it's like both teams looked horrendous at times. But you know what the downside is, even though they both looked horrendous. I was talking to Tyler and Nick about this earlier. Florida State legitimately, guys, could be, will probably be 4-0 or 5-0.
Yeah.
Based on their schedule.
Based on their schedule. Yep, I agree.
Based on their schedule, like I just don't see how it's not going to happen. Like I say 4 or 5-0 because it just kind of depends on that fifth game, but at least probably 4-0.
Let's see. They're at Louisville this weekend. No, that's on the 16th. That's 10 days from now. That's next Thursday, I believe. Nope, next Friday. Then the 24th, they play Boston College at home.
They didn't look good.
And they didn't look good at all. I think who they lose to? Was it for oh crap, it's on the tip of my tongue too, and I can't remember who they lost to.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
And then the meat of their schedule really comes up. They got to play Wake Forest, North Carolina State, and Clemson all in a row.
Yep.
That's gonna be the brutal. That's gonna be the brutal 3-game stretch, and then
Rutgers is who they played. Georgia
Tech and Miami. So yeah, it's. Yeah, if I'm looking at their schedule right now, let's see here 1, 2. At worst, I see them going 7-5 at worst, maybe 6-6. But I think 7-5 or 8-4 looks good right now. Just because if I were a betting man right now, I would let's just see what North Carolina State does. But yeah, right now I'd say 6-6, if not 7-5. Do what now?
I would put NC State as a win. I know Alex has been on their fan train, but I was last year. They looked really good last year, but I for some reason, man, after the game against ECU, ECU should have easily won that game. I mean, just how it happened. They missed 4 fucking field goals.
Yeah.
And had so many missed opportunities, and they still only win by 1 point. I can't see them competing in the ACC, let alone even with Florida State or North Carolina, or anybody really. They'll probably be a middle pack team, but yeah, I think Florida State will probably win that game.
And then right after that, head up with Clemson, like you said, and Georgia Tech, Miami, Syracuse, Louisiana, and with Florida. So, like, I see Florida being an L. I think Miami will be an L. Well, I don't know. In theory, it should be an L, but Miami has a wonderful ability of just laying the biggest egg against fucking Florida State. It never surprises me at this point. Even with Clemson being the way they are, I think that would be an L personally. But, yeah, neither of them look great, which, I think that's good for everyone, honestly. At least everyone on this show. It's good for all of us. Let's see. Any other college stuff you guys want to shout out and chat about? If not, we'll hop over to some brief NFL stuff here.
Yeah, I'm good to hop on open.
Yeah, we're good.
The one thing I do want to throw out there real quick, because I saw this was tweeted out here recently, and I actually really like it. The Chicago Bears released the updated depth chart for our offensive line. I actually really like this. Tevin Jenkins has officially been moved to our right guard position. Larry Borum, who was like a late round draft pick last year, alongside Tevin, he is now be starting at right tackle. Lucas Patrick, who we picked up, will be at center. Cody Whitehair is starting left guard, and our 5th round rookie, who has not looked like a freaking rookie at all, Braxton Jones, will officially be our starting left tackle. So I actually like that. Like that a lot. I'm here for that. But yeah, thoughts and expectations, boys, heading into week 1 of the NFL. We got some pretty solid games here in the lineup. Obviously kicking things off Thursday with Buffalo and the Rams. Going to be a good one there. Some other matchups to kind of watch is, I like the Steelers-Bengals matchup personally. I'm going to look forward to see what both teams are going to do there. I think Bengals going to get that dub, but looking forward to that. Dolphins and Patriots, a lot of high expectations on the Dolphins. Obviously, the big revenge game of the Browns and the Panthers. Shout out to Iggy. Colts and Texans, looking forward to seeing what Matt Ryan and the Colts are going to do there. Texans defense is actually not bad. The Colts should easily take that game, but again, we'll see how it goes. Packers, Vikings will be a really good one. Bucks and Cowboys. That's like the second year in a row you guys have played? Week 1?
Opening, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Last year we were in Tampa Bay.
And then, of course, another revenge game, Broncos and Seahawks. Both of Shane's teams going up against each other. Boys, thoughts and expectations and going into week 1. We got a lot of good matchups. Raiders and Chargers as well. Missed that one. Yeah, a lot of good matchups.
My expectations for week 1 is no matter what, I will not go 0-2 as far as my favorite teams. And then
That's
on
fair.
the flip side of that, I am looking forward to the Green Bay and Vikings game, mostly because the receivers of Green Bay is a huge question mark. And as people know, they're probably my third, fourth team that I really pay attention to. I've always been a Green Bay fan ever since Brett Favre. Shout out. So I think those receivers are a huge question mark. If Aaron Rodgers has can connect with them and make some plays, then I think Green Bay should win. Just strictly based on that defense. But I think if there's missed timings and miscues and interceptions or drop balls, Vikings will win that game.
What about you, Ricky?
So my Cowboys still do not have a backup quarterback. So I'm sweating over here, guys. I'm very concerned. Why do we not have? We don't have a kicker, and we're just gonna be Pulaski Academy. That's all it is. We're gonna onside kick it with the punter. We're just gonna be a new Pulaski Academy NFL style, and it's gonna be great, y'all. We're just gonna make sure Tom Brady doesn't touch the ball at all. So yeah, I have no idea what the heck's going on in Dallas right now. So here's my thing. Right now, I am picking Dallas to lose week 1 until we get a backup quarterback and a kicker. If we can get if we can get both, if we get at least a kicker, I'll be okay. But
imagine how Dak feels in there.
It's like,
he's just where's the rest of the room?
Exactly. It's like, well, who are they gonna put it? Well, Zeke might be able to throw the football a little bit. No, he cannot. He can barely run the ball. Anyways, so no, I am actually, like I said, looking forward to a lot of these matchups. So Steelers and Bengals, I think, is going to be a good one because your boy Alex Mr. Mitchell Trubisky gets his start this weekend.
Yep.
We're going to see how good the Steelers are going to be because they're going up against the Bengals, who rightfully do have high expectations. I think that's going to be definitely something to be on the lookout for. Patriots and Dolphins, I think, is going to be a good one to look out for.
Yep.
Is Tua ready for this? Ready to take over the AFC East? Which I don't. Like I said, I think the Bills are still going to win the AFC East, but
True.
I think Miami can give some of these teams a run for their money. And then of course, just looking down, of course, y'all mentioned the Packers and Vikings. I'm going to say the Chiefs and Cardinals as well. Because the Cardinals, if you guys remember last year, they started 8-0, I believe, and then they just tanked the rest of the year. And so, is it what team are we going to get this weekend with the Cardinals? And of course, the Chiefs, they're going to have new looks, but they're still going to be talented. They're just going to have new looks. And so it just, like I said, it's going to be a typical week 1 in the NFL. It's definitely going to be one that's intriguing for sure.
I think one of my matchups that I'm looking forward to the most, and of course, naturally I would be because it's one of my squads, but I'm actually really looking forward to Jacksonville and Washington. That is a game that I'm really excited for because I just want to see how Jacksonville's going to do. I feel like our defense, our first team defense, has looked phenomenal in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but again, it's first team.
Y'all know how I feel about Trevor Lawrence. I mean, Trevor Lawrence. For him to be taken seriously. This year, he's going to have to make some kind of noise. He doesn't necessarily have to win a lot of games, but he does need to make a lot more noise than what he made last year. Of course, last year, no quarterback would have been able to go through what he had to go through last year for his first year. Having Urban Meyer as a head coach, and then it just going completely crappy throughout all year long. And that's the thing, though. If you guys remember, he even said himself, he's not used to losing. I don't think he lost a game in high school. And then
between college and high school, I think he lost 3 games.
3 games, I think is what he said. And so and it just now, and of course he lost way more than 3 games last year. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Now, I would say the number one matchup that I'm pretty pumped to watch, though, is probably going to be Vegas and LA Chargers.
Yeah, that's that one as well. Both teams have high expectations this year.
Yep. I'm really excited to see what that Chargers defense is going to look like. I think adding Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson is massive because, like, you're adding J.C. Jackson back there with Asante Samuel Jr. and then, of course, Derwin James, who just got a massive contract extension. But then adding Khalil Mack up there to pass rush alongside Joey Bosa, I mean, it's just like, it's going to be nasty, and that's something I'm really looking forward to seeing. I think Eagles are going to get a pretty good dub there against the Lions, but I am looking forward to seeing what the Lions are going to do though. That's one that I'm going to keep my eye on. There's only a couple of these matchups I really don't give a shit about. Like, Giants and Titans, don't give a single shred of a shit about that one. Ravens and Jets,
Nope.
Ravens should wash that. I'm not even worried about it. Saints and Falcons, really don't care. Falcons are going to stink this year. Sorry, Jeremy. And Saints are going to be average. Don't give a shit. But, San Francisco and the Bears, all I want to see is potential out of Justin. That's all I want. Show me that, and I'm good. If we lose, we lose. But we got a lot of good matchups coming into this. I'm pretty pumped up to jump into these games this weekend. Starting on Thursday, of course, with Buffalo and the Rams. That's going to be a massive, massive matchup there. Really excited to watch that. But yeah, a lot of good matchups. Any other matchups you guys want to shout out, or if not, we can probably. What do you think? We might can start getting into predictions now. I think.
I'm good with whatever.
Well, that or we did forget to kick off with fantasy football.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we did.
We have
We did.
squeeze
pull
in
it up.
that.
Yeah, let's chat about fantasy. Let me pull it up real quick. Chat about our fantasy teams, how we're feeling about it. Shane, how are you feeling about yours? You didn't even get to draft yours. You had problems. But how are you feeling about your auto-drafted team?
It's this that was a fucking buyout from fucking
Yep.
Yahoo. So Yahoo is now servicing att.net's email, right? So in order to prevent, I guess, hacking or whatever, I found out that my shit wasn't hacked. Just Yahoo just fucking locked everybody out of their att.net emails and sbcglobal.net emails. Just locked everybody out. Like if you failed one time to sign in, you just got locked out.
Oof.
And then there was some confusion with the last name, and we're not gonna go into it. But I was able to get into my email finally 2 days after the draft. But yes, I couldn't draft, so I was auto drafted.
Well, how do you
So
feel
we'll see
about your
how this
auto
season
draft
goes.
team, though?
Well, I'm more confident in it now that it's a PPR, that I found out that it's a full PPR.
Yep.
So that makes me more excited because in my opinion, I think I've got 4 wide receiver number ones. I mean, all 4 of my receivers could potentially be a receiver number 1 on a team.
True.
So that's exciting. Other than that, Jalen Hurts, I've got him. I got him in the late rounds. I think. We'll see how he does. If the Eagles do what I think they can do, and probably hopefully will do, in winning their division, he'll put up some good numbers for me. Especially with having AJ Brown now. Other than that, my only real question marks, really, in my opinion, are my tight end spot. Which I think I've got I think I've got a good starter, but I don't have a backup. But Reddy and my running backs are questionable, but running backs are the deepest position in the league right now, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
No, your team doesn't look bad. I mean, you're right about the receiver thing because dude's got over here Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, and you got Lazard on the bench, Ayuk on the bench as well. I mean, like, you're stacked at receiver. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, I believe you also had the best draft grade.
Did was an A-. I was the only one to get an A.
What about you, Ricky? How you feeling about your team? With
I'm
your
feeling-
team name, Ricky won't get last
I
place.
won't get last place, damn it. All right, unless all my players get. That's how it usually works with fantasy football. Like, I'll get this kick-ass team, and then all of a sudden I'll get, like, injuries left and right like last year. So anyways, no, I'm actually feeling all right about mine. Of course, I drafted Justin Jefferson first. Of course, I was, where I was at as far as in the draft goes. I always strategize, how I'm going to do my picks and everything like that. And so, especially with, okay, do I want to start off with the receivers? Do I want to go running back heavy? Which one do I want to do? That's always been one of my biggest keys, just for the simple fact is running backs really kill me. But Najee Harris at running back, I'm really, really high on Kyle Pitts as a tight end. I love Kyle Pitts. I think he's probably going to be.
Dude, he was one that I wanted to snag.
When Kelsey retires, he will be the best tight end in the league, and he'll be the one that's going to get snagged up. And then somehow I got Patty Mahomes in the 4th. Now I want people to understand why I snagged. Usually I don't snag a quarterback till late. I usually wait till about the 6th, 7th, or 8th round, depending on what kind of a league it is. If we have a defense, or if we don't have a defense, or if we have defense and a kicker, whatever the case may be. So I just want to throw this out there because I did ask him, but let me see if I can find it. But here's the thing. I asked Brad why he drafted a quarterback in the 1st round of the draft.
True.
And I'm like, Brad, and I said, Brad, not only do you have 3 quarterbacks that you drafted, but you drafted Josh Allen in the 1st round. He didn't realize he drafted Josh Allen in the 1st round. I think he said he was toggling through it, and all of a sudden he had Josh Allen all of a sudden. So it was, I think it was just one of those deals. And then the rest of them were deals. So so my quarterback strategy kind of changed a little bit because I wanted a good quarterback, which you could have went the top 10 and still had a good quarterback, but I still wanted a good quarterback. And of course, if Patrick Mahomes is able to be Patrick Mahomes, we'll be just fine. But like I said, I like my guys: Leonard Fournette, Cam Akers, Mike Williams, David Montgomery, Amari Cooper, Marquise Brown. I have Kyler Murray as my backup, even though I don't really trust him all that much. Same frame with my defense: Christian Kirk, Devontae Smith, and Tyler Lockett rounds up mine. So I feel okay about mine. We got to stay healthy. We got to stay healthy this year.
I got a very terrible draft grade. I ain't even mad about it.
Real quick, just if you don't mind, real quick. Somehow I was able to draft maybe the 2 top defenses in the league this year, so I'll just keep them all year, and we'll see how it goes.
Trade value.
Exactly.
No, I got a D+ for my draft grade, but I feel like my team's actually pretty solid.
I feel like your team sucks. All right,
I like my team. You need to calm down. I like my team, bro. Then again, I say that most years. No, I'm a realist. I go into it at years, and I'm just like, I don't really care. This played out. But there's various things about this team that I really like came out. Quarterback wise, I waited till literally the very end. I always do. I don't ever snag them high. Very, very rarely will I snag them high. So I got like Derek Carr, and just on the chance that he's going to be a guy, I snagged Justin Fields. I think he was like my last pick.
I think I snagged Justin Fields with one of my. I think the first draft I did this year. I think I snagged him late.
Yeah, for tight ends, I've got Kelsey and Kittle. They just both fell in my lap, so I said, yeah, sure, why not? They got separate bye weeks, so sure. It's gonna be both.
That does play out pretty well.
I mean, in Kelsey's case, he's gonna be the number 1 weapon in KC, in my opinion. You can't change my mind on that. I mean, if people want to turn to Sky Moore, the rookie, or Juju, I'm like, no, it's gonna be Kelsey. Like, he's gonna be getting a lot of targets, and Kittle's gonna be a reception freak. Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Travis Etienne, which that one's just like, hey, we'll see how it goes. Jalen Waddle's gonna be a reception machine. Keenan Allen, he's got Mike Williams and a couple other weapons, but I still think Keenan Allen's going to get a lot of looks. J.K. Dobbins is like, we'll see how it goes. St. Brown for Detroit, we'll see how it goes. Mooney, we'll see how it goes. Antonio Gibson. Well, the tragic thing that happened worked out better for Antonio Gibson. That was obviously not planned. It's just like, hey, Antonio Gibson was there. And then Drake London, which I have high expectations for Drake London as a rookie. Not like he's going to be some superstar his rookie year, but I think he's going to be solid. I like my team personally. I got a D+, but whatever. I like it. I'm here to roll with it. We'll see how some of these guys go. Some of these are just like gut feelings. Like, hey, I think we'll see how it goes though. My gut feelings on the fantasy have been wrong plenty of times before. I mean, last season me and Tyler would do fantasy sits and starts on Sundays. We tweeted out, and let's say we stopped that pretty quick.
Speaking of 3 quarterbacks, at least he's not the only one. Iggy also has 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, Josh did too.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I think it was Josh.
Yeah, he does. He's got Joe Burrow, Tom Brady, and Baker Mayfield. He's got 3 Panthers. You can tell he's a Panthers fan. If you're watching, I'm sorry, man. I'm just speaking real here.
It's like Tyler. Whenever Tyler does fantasy football, he drafts basically everyone from the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, he tries, dude. We had a couple fantasy leagues where he had Stephon Diggs, whatever, and he didn't have Josh Allen, and man, it killed him. He tried to trade for Josh Allen. I think every minute of the day he would try to trade for it. But the guy that had him, he would be willing to trade Josh Allen, but the reason he didn't was another guy in the fantasy league, that knew Tyler, told him no matter what you get, do not trade him Josh Allen just to torture him, and he's just like, I bet.
I remember the first
diamond hands all year.
And then real quick, who is Stafford Infraction?
Stafford Infraction. That's our defending champion. That's my guy Nate.
Yeah, I know he won the league last year because it popped up.
Yep.
How did he not get an A+? His team is loaded,
dude.
Bro.
He drafted so well last year, and once again he's got such a good draft.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Allen Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, Zach Ertz, Saquon Barkley, Deontay Johnson, AJ Dillon, DK Metcalf, Michael Thomas, a New England running back that I'm not gonna even try to pronounce his name, and then Chris Godwin and James Robinson. Like, his team is freaking stacked.
I know.
Like
Nate drafts so well, man. Nate, if you have me watching,
I think that's Ramondre Stevenson is how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah, that guy.
Dude, Nate drafted super well last year, and he did the same thing, man.
Like, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in his starting lineup that are top 10 in their position.
Yep.
Like, nuts.
According to the draft summary, he really got hit hard with the tight end because, like I said, he didn't really have a great. But I mean, no one's going to get a great tight end unless you just draft, the top 3 or 4, and then it's done after that, basically.
Yeah. Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, and Waller. After that, it's just like, you got B pluses from here.
Then, of course, week 14, he has 1, 2, 3, 4 players on their bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's week 14, and there was a couple other things. His strength of schedule was the second easiest, which, I mean, that should have really helped him. Yeah. I don't understand how he didn't get an A.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah.
Stacked ass team, dude. All right. You guys ready to get into some predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get it. Let's get after it. So, like I said earlier, college football predictions are now up on Run Your Pool, so you can make your picks and get them submitted. I believe the setting is going to be you need to have them set by Saturday at noon. All games need to be selected. Now, there is one game being played on Thursday that we have here, so make sure to get that in. All right, let's start running through it, boys. So I've got mine pulled up here so I can make the picks as we go. All right, kicking things off, Oregon State and Fresno State. Hey, shout out to the Beavs, baby. They look good this weekend against Boise State. Let's go Beavs. That's who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with the Beavs, baby. Let's get it. I like it.
I've got Fresno State.
Okay, all right.
I'm rocking with the Beavs as well.
There you go. Let's go Beavs. Next up, we have a nice rivalry here. Iowa State and Iowa. Who you guys rocking with here?
Iowa has won, I think, the last 6, if my memory is correct. This team, they always play a close game. I don't think there's been a blowout for a while. I think Iowa State gets it done this year. Not because Iowa looked so horrible last weekend, but I don't think they're as good of a team this year as Iowa State. I've got Iowa State.
Okay. What are you, Shane?
I as well got Iowa State. I tuned into their game here and there. They look pretty good. With all said, but yeah. And I am gonna include because Iowa looked so bad last week. Wait, is it Iowa State and Iowa, or am I just tripping balls?
No, you're on the right game.
Yeah, okay, I'm right. I'm tripping. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
I think I'm going to be the oddball here. I'm going to go with Iowa. I think that special teams and defense is what's going to get that dub for them. Next up, Virginia and Illinois. I liked following Virginia last year. I liked their quarterback Armstrong, and I like following this Illinois team, so I wanted to throw them in there. How you guys feeling about it?
I don't know.
I'm going to rock Illinois at home. I'm the one that put this game in. I'm gonna do Illinois at home. I'll start it.
Brett Bielema kind of disappointed me with losing to Indiana.
Good game, though.
But Virginia's not gonna be that much better than what Indiana was, so hopefully he can turn it around. I'll go with Brett. I'll go with Illinois.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride with Illinois as well.
Next up, Missouri and Kansas State. Missouri had a slow start against LA Tech. I tuned into a little bit of that game, but then they kind of turned it on from there. And Kansas State is looking pretty decent as well with their Nebraska transfer, Adrian Martinez. How you guys feeling on this game?
I've got Kansas
I
State.
mean, yeah, I'm gonna go Kansas State because at this point in time, I was gonna go with the experience and Adrian Martinez. He's been in college football for about 15 years. So at this point, I'm sure he's playing with a grandson or something like that as
The
well.
grandson.
We may have to roster check that just to
Oh,
be sure.
man.
So I'm gonna go with the experience in Kansas State.
I was leaning Missouri, but just because of that, we're going Kansas State. Next up, you boys' this game. South Carolina at Arkansas. How you guys feeling? South Carolina did not look good. Spencer did not look
No,
good.
he's even with the trouble that we're gonna have, he's not gonna be able to do what he did the other day. It's just not gonna happen. South Carolina. Here's the thing: Spencer could throw the ball all he wants to. South Carolina did not even run the ball for 100 yards. I think they ran for like 70 yards the other day. They're not a very good running team, and they can't stop the run. Arkansas in a blowout.
Arkansas in a blowout.
Yeah, I think right now what I looked at it yesterday, or maybe this morning, we were an 8-point favorite. I'm at
Which is
least gonna say,
disrespectful, Vegas.
yeah. I'm at least gonna pick at least Arkansas about 14 right here. I just think South Carolina. Don't get me wrong. I think South Carolina has potential of being good. They're kind of like this nobody knows what they are kind of team. Um, I've always liked South Carolina in a sense. I've never had any issues with them. Maybe because they've been pretty much a punching bag for Arkansas typically when we play them. Because the only memories I have of playing South Carolina is D-Mac running for 400 yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna go Arkansas.
I'm locking in Arkansas as well. Next up, we have USC at Stanford. Give me the Trojans in this one.
Stanford has won, I think, 5 of the last 6 home games against USC.
Yep.
But this Stanford team is not going to beat USC. This Stanford program is not near where it needs to be to beat this USC team. I've got USC.
Okay.
I as well got USC. Only reason why I kind of put this game in there, there wasn't a lot of games to choose from. It was really this game or the Louisville game. But just as it being a conference game, and honestly, yeah, just going back to hell, the Andrew Luck days of seeing those two teams just bash heads and how
Right.
good of a game it was. I know this probably is not going to be like that, but yeah, I'm going to go USC.
Okay. Next up, Wake Forest at Vandy, which before that breaking news, I feel like was going to be a lot more interesting game. I feel like Sam Hartman's going to change that game drastically. Give me Wake Forest. Before that, I might have flirted with and for the orgy. But I don't know. I think I'm going to rock with Wake Forest with Sam Hartman coming back.
Yeah, honestly, I had
see that look
on
from
my
Ricky.
on my run pool or whatever the pick things that we're doing, I had Vandy picked. But since Sam Hartman's gonna be back, I think it'll be a slow first half. But at the end of the day, Sam Hartman is gonna make the difference in this game, and Wake Forest is gonna win it.
Vanderbilt wins this game.
Oh, here we go.
Vanderbilt wins this game. 45-35, Vanderbilt.
Whoa, we even got a score.
High
shit.
scoring game.
Oh, shit.
45-35. Vanderbilt's going to be 4-0. I want to see 4-0 when they go against Alabama, and I want to see them on CBS, even though it's probably not going to happen. But hey, I'm telling you, I'm really hyped. I don't care that they played Elon a close game, which they were already up by 3 touchdowns before they put in their 4th string anyway, so it really didn't even matter. It's Elon. No one cares about Elon. They're even ranked higher than what North Dakota was when North Dakota played Nebraska the other day. Yes, I'm going for my Commodores. Go Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt wins this game.
Okay, we'll see. Next up, Appalachian State at Texas A&M. Ricky, I'll let you start. You're the one that put this game in there.
I wanted to pull the trigger on this game so bad.
Do it. Pull the trigger.
Texas A&M played Sam Houston State, and they only scored 31 points against Sam Houston State. I don't care that Sam Houston State. They're not the same FCS powerhouse that they were 2-3 years ago. They're just not. They're just not there. But Appalachian State didn't really look good until the fourth quarter. They're not. But here's the thing: they're not going to be able to throw the ball over the field like they did against who they played the other day. North Carolina. They're not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to do that against North Carolina. So I really hope I'm wrong because I really think Texas A&M is highly overrated. But I'm not going to pull the trigger on this one. I'm going to stick with Texas A&M.
I am as well.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna be setting up, undefeated teams with Arkansas and Texas A&M here in the next 2 weeks. But it's not gonna happen. I'm going to App State.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Whoa. Did you say you're going to App State?
He did.
Oh, I'm rooting for it, Shane. I'm rooting for it, Shane.
I'm going to App State. Fuck the records. I want to see Texas A&M be exposed for the team that they are. Mediocre.
Also,
mediocrity is their name. It's their university. Let's go App State.
Also, Shane, I want to point something out. You said that you you have that hope that Texas A&M is going to be undefeated going into Arkansas game, right?
Yeah, but then I said it's not going to happen because I'm going to App State.
Okay, but I also want to point out that means that you want them to beat Miami in week 3, so you need to fucking cool your jets and relax, my friend. Next week, baby. Miami.
I know what game's gonna be. I know what game's gonna be picked for next week. Texas A&M, Miami. You might as well go ahead and put it on there for week 3.
I mean, it's gonna be on there, boys. You fucking know it. It might be our game of the week. Look, when it comes to our game of the weeks, I'm gonna try to avoid our favorite teams, but I feel like we can all get one.
Sometimes you just got to put it in there. I mean, it's part of it.
I mean, week 4, Arkansas and Texas A&M might be game of the week. We'll see when we get there. We'll see when we get there. Anyway,
let's wait until it's 5-0 or 4-0.
Right?
Yeah. Alabama. Okay.
Right.
Let's we all know Vandy's not going to beat Alabama.
Very true. Hey, I didn't say Vandy was going to beat Alabama. I just want them to be 4-0 going against Alabama
because I actually want people.
I actually want people to pay attention to Vanderbilt. All right. I'm telling y'all, Vanderbilt's not going to get last in the SEC this year. That's going to be Missouri.
They're going to start off undefeated. It's like new logo, new them.
And they all. I think is it them or Kentucky that's doing? No, I think it is Vanderbilt that's doing a renovation on their stadium before too long.
Yeah. And
I know Kansas is too. So some of these terrible teams are actually going to get renovations on their stadium. That's hilarious.
There you go. Next one, Tennessee and Pitt. Pitt shocked me. Yeah, week 1. I watched that game, had a great time watching it, but I think I'm gonna rock with Tennessee on this one. I'm feeling Tennessee.
This is a revenge game. I think last year Pittsburgh beat Tennessee at Tennessee, if my memory is correct. I'm also gonna go with. I'm riding real high on Tennessee this year. I'm really high on Tennessee right now, and I'm gonna stick with them.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee. I definitely agree. They're definitely a top 3 team in the East. They're gonna be contending. It's just a matter if they can beat Georgia, which right now how Georgia played this past weekend, no one's gonna do that. But I am gonna go Tennessee because I think they're just far and beyond better right now.
Okay, next up we have Houston at Texas Tech. And honestly, this is a game that I wasn't really paying attention to until, Ricky, you put it in there to be and I started looking at the game. I'm actually really excited to watch this game this weekend. Texas Tech is a lot better than people realize. That I'll say that. And then Houston's also, a pretty solid squad. So I really don't know where to go on this one. How are you guys kind of feeling on it?
So Texas Tech right now is a 3-point favorite, and it is in Lubbock. It is in Lubbock. However, here's the thing though. Just by watching Houston has they're pretty fast.
Yep.
They're pretty fast. I think I'm going to stick with Houston. I'm going to ride with Houston on this game.
Yeah, I watched some of their game this past weekend. Who they play again?
UTSA.
Yeah, UTSA. Yeah, even though I went with UTSA in that game, just kind of I thought they were the better team, but Houston showed out. I mean, I know it was a close game, and they just
Triple
had one
overtime
better
at
play.
that.
But that's all it takes to win a game is to have one better play than the other team.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Houston.
I think I'm gonna be the oddball. I think I'm gonna rock with Texas Tech on this one. I think I'm gonna rock with Tech after doing some reading on this. After because again, I looked at the game I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go with Houston. I started looking at it, I'm like, well, hold on. I think I like Texas Tech in this game, but I think it's gonna be a very very close game. Baylor at BYU. I'm gonna go with Baylor just because I still think BYU is horribly overrated.
So before people go all over and say, well, BYU put 50 on South Florida last week, let me just remind you, South Florida won
Stinks.
2 games last year. They won 1 the year before, and I don't think they won any in 2019, if my memory is correct. I'd have to go back and look at that.
They stink.
So here's the thing. Playing South Florida is like playing Hawaii. Go Baylor.
Hey, yo.
Wow.
Sorry, man. I had to throw that in there.
I know.
I'm sorry, man. It really is. Hawaii is just.
I know.
It's just horrible. They're
I
just
know.
terrible, man.
I know.
They're just terrible. South Florida, according to CBS, was ranked 110th to start off the year, which is actually worse than where they put Hawaii.
Fade Hawaii for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
in betting.
Hawaii's done. Sorry, Hawaii.
Even if it is a minus 51 right now with Michigan, take that minus 51, put a couple bucks on it or whatever. Fade Hawaii. Fade Hawaii.
They had Hawaii better than South Carolina in this poll. Goodness gracious. They went way. Oh my gosh, CBS, you're killing me, man.
Shane, what did you pick there? I didn't hear you.
Am I muted? Hello.
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, as much as I would like to see BYU win, to where it's more escalated when Arkansas plays them and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, I very well could have Baylor in my Final Four.
True.
For the playoff. I'm gonna go Baylor.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, not to mention when we travel to BYU, we have Texas A&M and Alabama 2 week back-to-back weeks before we go to BYU. So that game's gonna be tough regardless.
Next up, we have Alabama at Texas, which is where College Game Day will be.
This game's not even going to be close. Why is College Game Day wasting their time going to Texas? You're better off going to Hawaii. I mean, who's Hawaii playing this week?
Michigan. At Michigan.
You're better off going to Michigan and having
Wow.
Michigan Hawaii be
Listen,
your College
you need to
Game
stop.
Day.
You need to stop beating on Hawaii right
gosh, goodness, I'm sorry, man. I'm just saying you're better. Okay, here. Let me pick on somebody. Let me just pick on some. You're better off going to Fresno State for the Beavers and the Bulldogs, all right? You're better
Go
off
Beavs!
you're better off on that than what you are. Why are they going? I don't understand this. Why would you waste your time going on a College Game Day to freaking Texas? Number 1, it's going to be hot as hell. Number 2, it's going to be humid as hell. Number 3, there's not anything in Texas. It's flat, it's crappy, it's horrible. Bama rolls by 30.
I want the record to be known. A Dallas Cowboys fan is the one saying this.
I'm just saying the Dallas Cowboys are the only good thing that's going for them. This is Austin. It's totally different.
That ain't much.
Shut your mouth.
I've got 3 syllables for you. Alabama.
That's not 3 syllables.
It's gonna be
I don't think that's Alabama. That's 4 syllables, my man.
Unless you put
Bama, unless you're just like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna put Bama as 1. Yeah, but that's 4 syllables, man. But hey, that's okay.
Give me Alabama as well.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a blowout. I mean, what's the spread on this game right now?
20.
Yeah,
I can.
they're gonna win by 40. So, yeah, go Quinn Ayers. He's gonna spend a lot of time on his back this weekend.
Yeah, it is 20. Yeah, minus 20 Alabama right now. Yeesh. God damn. Yeah, good luck College Game Day on that one. All right, now we're off to our 3 game of the weeks. Hard pick for 2 of these. Literally, it came down to the wire. Like I'm talking like right before Ricky got over here, I was still picking what these games were going to be. FCS game of the week. So one that I did look at quite a bit, and it was one that you pitched as well. Was Delaware State and Delaware. But I looked at that game.
On here. I don't see that on the pick list.
No, I ended up not going with it.
Oh, okay.
Mostly because of one reason. That rivalry started 10 years ago. Delaware is 10-0. Like Delaware is like 10th ranked in the FCS right now. Delaware State's nowhere near ranked. The spread on it was pretty big, so I decided not to go with that one. Instead, I decided to go with a game that had double Arkansas ties for both you guys. Maybe tie at your heartstrings a little bit. We got Tennessee Martin and Missouri State. Missouri State, of course, having Bobby Petrino there for you guys to kind of pick on, but also shout out to UT Martin. They're starting running back Zach Wallace from Benton, who put up 3 TDs this past weekend and like 180 yards, I think, or 150. I could be wrong. But he played pretty well last year. He got like 850 yards last year with double-digit TDs. He played pretty well in that first game for Tennessee Martin, racking up 3 TDs on the ground. Both these teams are ranked pretty high in the FCS. Missouri State, I think, up in like the top 5. Tennessee Martin, I think, in the and I think like number 13 is sticking out to me. So I feel like a good FCS game of the week. How are you guys feeling on this game?
So right now, Missouri State is 7th.
Yeah.
Tennessee Martin is 14th. It's at Missouri State.
Yep.
I'm just going to toss up and say the home team.
UT Martin did beat Missouri State end of last year.
Yeah, I'll stick with. I'm gonna stick with Missouri State.
I'm gonna rock UT Martin. Let's get it.
Now, to add on to what you were saying with the Arkansas ties, Missouri State does have a Cincinnati transfer who also transferred from Arkansas to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Receiver Jordan Jones. If you remember him, he was pretty much the only bright side when Arkansas was shitty. And then of course by Petrino, yada yada. I hope Wallace plays well. But I am going to go Missouri State.
Okay. And FBS game of the week, we have Kentucky and Florida. I think this is going to be an awesome game.
It should be.
I'm excited for
this should be. If even if you're not a, I mean, of course, I know Alex, you haven't watched near as much college football as much me and Shane has, obviously. Yep. But even if you're not a college football fan, this is a game you're going to want to see. This is definitely going to be. Kentucky got a very slow start the other day. Which does have a little bit of concern, just right there. But their defense is going to be every bit, they're going to be as just, their defense is going to be on up there as far as when it comes to the SEC goes and everything like that. I want to say Kentucky won this game last year, and it was extremely close.
Yeah, it was.
And Florida was not that good last year. Florida being in the swamp, coming off a win against Utah. I really want to roll with the Gators. Just because that they had a better win, but I'm going to roll with Kentucky. I've got Kentucky winning this game.
Shane?
Yeah, I mean, Florida, I think, in general, is probably going to be more talented. But at the end of the day, Kentucky's more of a well-put-together team. Mark Stoops has done a great job putting together that team. Even though I extremely dislike him because of his coffee choices, they do have a very good quarterback in Will Levis.
I'll get to that. Don't worry. That's going to tie into my pick.
Okay. I'm like, what?
So I am going to go with Kentucky to beat the Gators in the swamp and repeat beating them 2 years in a row for the first time in God knows how long. So yeah.
For me, easy pick. Going Florida because Will Levis does never deserve to win another college game for the rest of his career because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
That is gross.
Yeah.
That is gross. Absolutely disgusting.
There was even a video of it where he put the mayo in the coffee and drank it like right there to prove it. That's his thing. He puts mayo in coffee. Okay, so because of that, he deserves to lose every game this forward.
There was a guy that my step grandmother used to watch in foster care. This was years ago. When I was a kid, and his favorite thing to eat was a double-decker mayonnaise sandwich. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I mean, I like mayonnaise, but not that much. Of course, I'm like Miracle Whip better, but the fake mayonnaise, but that's just disgusting.
No.
Oh man.
Mayonnaise and coffee. No, thank you. And then, of course, capping things off for the week, we have our terrible game of the week, and I want the record to be known. I had a very tough struggle on. So the point for a terrible game of the week is to pick 2 bad teams going up against each other, and that's our game, right? Last week was a meme because of how the terrible game started with UConn, and it was 2 Connecticut teams, so it made sense. That was a gimme game. I very heavily debated doing another gimme game just because I'm all about a good joke. I'm all about things coming full circle. And our terrible game of the week was almost Hawaii and Michigan and giving everyone a freebie because of how bad Hawaii's been. But I asked Tyler, I was like, should I do bad versus bad or a meme? And he said, you already did your meme. You got to go bad versus bad. So that's what we're doing. We have Middle Tennessee State and Colorado State for our game of the week to give you guys some points on this. They both only scored 7 points last week. One of them allowed 44 points last week. One of them allowed 51. Mid-Tenn State only got 120 yards. Meanwhile, Colorado State only got 220 yards last week. Currently, Colorado State is favored 55% to 44%. And the spread is minus 7.5 for Colorado State. So I try, when it comes to these bad games, I try to find 2 bad teams that are also where it's going to be a competitive game. You know what I mean? Because I looked at UTEP and New Mexico State, but New Mexico State should get their shit wrecked. That should be UTEP getting that dub pretty easy. So I try to keep these terrible games to 2 bad teams where the game could at least be somewhat competitive. I'm gonna rock Colorado State on this one.
Yeah, let's see. Colorado State, they played Michigan, I believe.
Yep, lost 51-7.
And they lost big
And Middle
time.
Tennessee State lost to James Madison 44-7.
So just to be clear, James Madison was a FCS powerhouse before they moved up to the FBS level,
Yep.
so that really does not surprise me. Middle Tennessee State is they're terrible. They're terrible. I'm going Colorado State.
Yeah, I'm as well going Colorado State. Even though when Arkansas was at their worst, we beat them somehow. So there's that. But yeah, I'm going Colorado State.
All right, hopping over to NFL, boys. We'll wrap up the show beautifully. Thursday Night Football, Buffalo and the Rams. How you guys feeling on it?
I've got the Rams. I think with them coming off the Super Bowl, but this is one of 2 losses I have for Buffalo this year. I don't have Buffalo losing very many games.
Sure.
Would not surprise me if Buffalo came down to LA to beat them. Would not surprise me one bit. But I think with them, like I said, the Super Bowl hype coming in, first game after Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm going to pull the Rams this week.
Give me the Rams.
I may get a good pat on the back from old Tyler. I'm going Bills.
Good pick, though. Good pick. Going to our noon games. Let's kick things off with San Fran and Chicago. How we feeling?
I've got Chicago.
Ooh.
I just don't, as much as people want to pull for Trey Lance, we're going to find out if he's ready or not. I mean, that's just point blank. It is the NFL. But I did say that I've got Chicago. I said I had Chicago weeks ago whenever we did the schedule. So yeah, I've got Chicago.
I will go with Chicago, even though it would not. There's a part of me that really wants to go San Fran. But my thing is, when I watched that preseason game of Houston and San Fran, Houston bottled Trey Lance up, and I feel like if Chicago's defense can do the same thing, we can get a dub. So I'm gonna rock with Chicago.
I mean, yeah, I think it's really gonna be whose young quarterback's gonna perform better. And I think Justin Fields is in a better position right now to perform better. But I've got to see it from that offensive line protecting Justin Fields.
Sure. He was running.
I believe in San Francisco's defense is a little too much. I'm gonna go San Fran.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Next up, Jacksonville at Washington. Give me the Jags, baby. Duval. That's who I got.
I've got Jacksonville.
Let's get it.
I've got Jacksonville as well.
Hell yeah.
But I'm looking to see if Wentz, how he plays. And if he does play bad, maybe 3 picks, in the game, we see how Sam Howell does. If he gets that chance to come in, because that's what I want to see, me personally. But yeah, Duval.
Next up, Vegas and the Chargers. How we feeling? Let's go Chargers. Bolt up, baby.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, as much as I would like to see Vegas win, I just think talent-wise, the Chargers are better, and I think that defense could very well be a top 5 defense this year. I've got to go Chargers.
I'm going to slightly disagree that they have more talent. They do have younger talent, and they are very, very good. I've got the Raiders winning the division. I have them losing this game, but I think when it's all said and done, I think Vegas is going to be a better team toward the end of the year.
Cool.
So yeah, I'll ride with the Chargers this week.
Saints and Falcons.
The Saints.
Yep, Saints.
The Falcons aren't going to win a game this.
Yeah.
They might win 2 all year.
Pittsburgh and Cincy. Give me Cincy.
Yeah, I've got Cincy as well. Pittsburgh's got too many questions. And when's the last time Mitchell Trubisky won a football game as a starting quarterback?
Last time he was in Chicago.
So yeah, we'll just. So I'll take Joe Burrow. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cincy. I mean, right now, yeah, that's all that needs to be said.
Philadelphia and Detroit. Give me Philly.
Let me see who I think I have Philly. Yep, I do. I have Philly as well.
Yeah, I'm going Philly. I still like I said, I still like them to win their division. I think the pieces they brought in, I think adding Davis and adding Dean, adding AJ Brown, significantly upgrades this team. I still know there is question marks. I think Detroit will make this a game. I would not be surprised if it's close in the fourth quarter. But I am going to go Eagles.
Okay. New England and Miami. Give me the Dolphins on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins as well. I don't think New England's there yet.
Same.
Baltimore and Jets. All right, Baltimore. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should we even? Should we
Yep.
even?
No,
should we
no,
even talk about the
no.
Jets? Even though Zach Wilson may start this week, go Zach Wilson.
Yeah, there you go. All
BYU
right.
Mormon geek. Anyway,
Cleveland and Carolina. Are we feeling the revenge game? Or is Baker going to, quote, fuck them up?
he should. He should. This Carolina team, I think, is a little more talented than what we give them credit for. But yeah, I've got Carolina winning this game. This is just one of those deals. I think Baker just goes off.
Okay.
I
think I'll rock with
And
Carolina.
if he doesn't, I will not pick him to ever win a game ever again. I don't care if he's going against.
I'm going to double up on that.
I don't care if he's going against the Chicago Bears,
Wow.
the Vanderbilt Commodores,
Wow.
Hawaii.
Wow.
Gosh, I'm all over Hawaii
Okay.
this year.
All right, at this point, he's just being a dead dog.
I feel like
Damn.
you've never talked about Hawaii in your life until you met me.
That's absolutely not true. I used to be one of those idiots who would stay up past midnight watching Hawaii play.
It used to be fun to watch.
Here's the thing. I still will. Well, this weekend I didn't. I fell asleep.
We've had two different eras that were fun to watch with Colt Brennan and Cole McDonald. So
Yeah,
I mean,
oh man, I hate that Colt Brennan's gone now. But yeah,
rest in peace.
rest
to him.
in peace to him. Yep.
Where were we? Oh yeah, Cleveland, Carolina. Shane, are you locking in Carolina?
Yeah, I'm going Carolina.
All right, bet. Indy at Houston. Like I said, this is gonna be a fun game to watch strictly because that Houston defense is actually a lot tougher than we give them credit for, but that offense stinks. Give me Indy.
Yeah. It's the same reason.
Same.
Giants and Titans. Give me Titans. Easy.
Yep. Titans moving on.
I'm assuming Titans for you.
Yeah.
Okay, just gotta clarify. Green Bay at Minnesota. It's gonna be a good game.
At least it should be.
True.
Big question marks with both teams.
Yep.
Is Kirk Cousins the answer for Minnesota? I think they've been asking that question for a while. It just seems like whenever Kirk Cousins plays against good teams, we don't see a very good. We don't see him go out on top. We see him fall flat when he goes against good teams. So for that reason, even though it is week 1 and it's going to be a hyped up crowd in Minnesota, I'm going Green Bay.
Shane, how you feeling?
Just like I said, like I mentioned earlier, this is a tough game for me. I was high on Minnesota when we did our predictions. But again, Green Bay is one of my favorite teams. They're ones I watch closely. But I think right now I've got to see his connection with these receivers first. That's the biggest question mark. So basically, I'm fighting between two question marks: Kirk Cousins or Green Bay's receivers. Very well, Green Bay could very well win this game just off their defense solely. But right now, I have more trust in Kirk Cousins than I do those receivers in Green Bay. So I'm going to Minnesota.
Okay. I'm gonna go Green Bay personally. KC and Arizona. Give me Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, with Arizona, the way they fell off last year, they fell off bad last year. Of course, this is a big week for them. Even though I do have them having a good season, I do not have them beating Kansas City. Kansas City wins this game.
Same. I think that right now they're going to be missing D-Hop.
True.
And I believe they're missing some other key pieces right now. And we all know Chandler Jones moved on. I think that's going to be too much to come over to try and beat Kansas City right now.
Sunday Night Football, Tampa Bay and Dallas.
So I've got the Cowboys winning. I had the Cowboys winning even before, whenever before the season started, just because it's in Dallas, and I think Dak has a lot more to prove than anything. But we don't have a kicker right now, and we don't have a backup quarterback. So my pick is, I'm still going to stick with Dallas, but if Dak gets knocked out, I'm switching my pick to Tampa Bay like that. like that. Can I do that?
Hey, it's gotta get locked in by it's gotta get locked in by Sunday at noon.
Sunday at noon. They better have a damn backup before then.
I'm gonna go Tampa. I would actually like to see Dallas win this game. But for the reasons that Ricky just mentioned, and amongst other question marks, Tampa Bay reloaded, really. The biggest question mark right now is at tight end was losing Gronk. But even then, compared to what they've got in receivers, that's very small. I'm going Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and of course their receivers, they've got to stay healthy this year. That was what hurt them last year. They just could not stay healthy at all. And so, and then it's like I said, is there any other team in this league that doesn't have a backup quarterback and a kicker on their team? I'm just curious. It's like who does
Cowboys,
this?
Bud.
Who does this?
Just the Cowboys.
Oh
bud.
my goodness gracious! I guess the punter's going to do everything.
Jerry.
All right.
Backup quarterback, kicker, and punter.
All right. Monday Night Football. Shane, your two teams, Denver and Seattle. Russell Wilson getting his revenge game. Yeah, because Seattle stinks.
I mean, the way I see this, both teams are pretty much on an even playing field, right?
What?
As far as talent goes.
Whoa, calm down. That's not even close.
I love you, Shane. I really do, man. Because you just try to butter this up. This is like me trying to butter up Dallas 3 years ago. Whenever Dak gets hurt, and it's Zeke. Yeah, man, the backup quarterback. Who was his name? Ben DiNucci, Cooper, whoever it was.
Andy Dalton at the time.
Oh, it was Andy Dalton at the time. I'm like, it's okay. We have Andy Dalton. He was a Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. He did good there.
I can't say nothing bad about either team, but Denver's got Russell Wilson. Seattle's got the guy that
Geno
played at
Smith
Missouri,
is starting.
So I'm going to go Denver.
Geno Smith. He's still in the league.
Yeah, he's the starting
I
quarterback.
didn't even know he was in the league anymore.
Yeah, he's the Seattle starting quarterback over
goodness.
Drew Lock.
And hey, who wasn't Drew Lock? Wasn't he the starting quarterback last year for Denver? Denver? Yeah, and guess who had the better QBR between Russell Wilson and Drew Lock? It was Russell Wilson, very, very slightly. It was not much. It was like a tenth, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I have to really look it up anyway.
We can all agree that Seattle team last year was not any better than what this year's team is.
No, that Seattle team's horrible. They should have fired Pete Carroll with it. And it's I don't understand it. It's like, come on. I think I had Seattle going 0 for this year. I think they're going to be that bad. I've got Denver.
Yeah, Denver across the board. That's an easy one. Honestly, it is. All right, well, that was all of our picks. I think we've pretty much got through everything on the show today. For betting stuff, I haven't really looked at it as much other than just fade Hawaii. Just fade Hawaii. Like, that's all I can say. Even if it's minus 51.
They'll score 3 points this weekend. It's okay.
Yeah, maybe, if they're lucky. It wouldn't shock me if they didn't get a single point. It really won't. So... boys, anything that you want to shout out before we get out here? If not, I'm gonna hit the music. We're gonna work our way out because I am hungry. Boys,
yes,
what's for dinner? What's for dinner, guys?
I am starving. I don't know what's for dinner yet. I'm
starving.
I'm gonna drive down the road. I know gas is $2.97 a gallon at one of these gas stations around here somewhere. So I'm gonna fill up and I'm gonna find some food.
I'm fucking hungry. What's for dinner for you, Shane?
I'm having this thing that I found on Facebook. It's like a hot dog and like a I don't know, it's like a weird bun, and it's cut down the middle, and it's got like cheese dip on it.
Okay.
So
the moment you said hot dog, you really worried me because the first thing I thought of was this video that was sent to me the other day of someone taking a bunch of hot dogs, put them in a jar, and mixing it with the blue lemonade Kool-Aid packet and making blue hot dogs and eating that. So as soon as you said, this thing I saw on Facebook with a hot dog, I'm like, oh, Shane, please don't tell me you're doing that.
No. Well, also going back to Arkansas / hot dogs, did y'all see on SEC Nation they they had water and they used hot dogs as a straw.
I saw that
That
happen
shit
at a
was
Yankees
hilarious.
game.
Yeah, that just sounds weird.
Yeah, I saw it at a Yankees game. A dude took a straw right down the hot dog and used the hot dog to drink his beer. That's where it started. It started with that random guy at a Yankees game.
Goodness
Disgusting.
gracious. My birthday
that
is
shit was
Saturday.
funny.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Ricky.
Thank you. Yeah, my birthday is Saturday, so actually the Hogs to win Saturday. That's all I'm asking for. The Hogs to win and Appalachian State to upset Texas A&M. We'll be good to go.
There you go. And then Appalachians, then Texas A&M lose to Miami, and then they can lose to Arkansas, and then look where they're going to be. 3 losses.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be a great world for everyone.
And then exactly. And then Jimbo Fisher's going to be fired, so they'll be fine.
Mediocre university.
All right, I'm hitting the music. Boys, last thoughts. We're getting out of here.
Nope, hungry as shit, ready to go.
Yeah,
Peace out,
same
guys.
here, same here. It's,
Yeah.
it's definitely time for some food.
I'm starving. All right, well, if you stayed here and watched it with us, we appreciate the hell of you. If you watched this after the fact, we appreciate the hell of you. If you're listening to this after the fact, we appreciate the hell of you. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/SparkE3. Join the Discord, join our polls, and compete against us. And I think that's it. Like I said, I'm starving. I'm ending this quick. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for listening to
A Terrible Football Show.
Got it.